You're listening to the Law of Attraction Radio Network.
The secret to well-being is discovering the power that is your birthright, the power to create a happier, healthier life, drawn from our own vast internal resources. Join Jules and her guests as they gently guide you to shift your perspective from the familiar negative to the divinely connected, a place that will not only positively impact your world, but possibly shift the planet. It's all right here on Law of Attraction Talk Radio.
Well, welcome to Law of Attraction Talk Radio. I'm Jules from beautiful Southern California, and I'm so glad you could be here because we've got a very exciting show. There is a new movie coming out on April 8th, 2020, and it is a new Law of Attraction movie. The title of it is How Thoughts Become Things. And you know the cast of people, the experts who are going to be talking in it. Bob Proctor, John DeMartini, John Asroff, Marie Diamond, everybody. They're going to be talking about the new things about the law of attraction. And so this is very exciting, and I am so thrilled to be able to promote it. Now, this is very, very exciting. So Doug's going to be talking and sharing with us immediately, and I'm so happy. And then on April 17th is another movie, Law of Attraction movie, called The Secret, Dare to Dream, and it stars Katie Holmes. Now, that's going to be in a theater near you on April 17th on. So all you have to do is go watch this, and I'm so excited to announce that the Law of Attraction is now mainstream. It's going to be in every theater across the nation. This is so powerful, and I kind of feel like, wow, what a great manifestation of all of our minds coming together wanting more information. We're going to get it. This is really terrific. Not only that, there's going to be a whole bunch more people that are going to finally understand the law of attraction. So I'm delighted. So with that, let's take a fast commercial break. And we're also watching a preview of How Thoughts Become Things movie. And you are going to love it. We'll be right back with my special guest, Doug Vermeeren, who is the director of How Thoughts Become Things. We'll be right back.
Over a decade ago, you were told about a secret. This secret revealed one of the most powerful laws in the universe. And a window was opened for you to see endless possibilities. It expanded your views of who you are and what you could become. You saw before you incredible possibilities for abundance and wealth. You saw the key to improving relationships and stronger connections with those you love. You saw the path to recapture your health in miraculous ways and achieve the healthier lifestyle that you've always wanted. Perhaps most important, you saw that through this secret, you could gain a greater connection with yourself, your self-worth, and insights into how you could have everything that you want and desire. This secret was based on your thoughts and the power of your frequencies and feelings. Are you ready for the next step to be revealed?
Thinking is, in my opinion, the highest function that we're capable of. The problem is most people do not think. Although it's the highest function we're capable of, very few people do it.
Well, thought is really the creative force of our mind. When our mind, who is like the energy of the universe.
We have over 50,000 thoughts that percolate up from our subconscious minds based on the patterns that are the trillions of neural connections. Every book we've read, every movie we've seen, every interaction we've had, every experience that we've had, every idea, emotion, sensation that has been orchestrated and organized in our brain, specifically our subconscious brain and our memory center, is percolating up these unimaginable thoughts.
We live in an optical illusion. You don't see what is real, you see what you believe. What you're seeing is filtered through the belief system in your mind. It's filtered through your thoughts. If you happen to think that the world is a messy, desperate, despondent place, you will look into the world and you will find evidence to match your belief. You'll have your reality match your mindset.
If we look around us, pretty much everybody is on automatic pilot most of the time, unless you are a very good control of yourself, unless you are very intentional.
It's not just thoughts become things, it's how thoughts become things. And the how, well, that's the process. And become, well, those are the changes that you're going to be able to make.
Because as you show up powerfully in that way of being, the world will respond to you. You cannot be the old way and have the world respond differently to you. So the very first thing you have to know is, who am I in this?
And if you start to unwind where those thoughts came from and how they were truly imprinted in your subconscious mind, now all of a sudden you learn how to start controlling your thoughts and creating belief structures that are your own, that weren't just given to you, but that you're actually creating from inception. And that's how we start creating more and more of our own true success as we wake ourselves up to what we really want as we get later in life.
In other words, reality is different for every human being because reality is based on what we perceive, that we've heard secondhand from our family, that we've learned from our environment, and what it means to us.
What you believe to be true is true for you, but it's not necessarily based on reality.
Our thoughts become things, and our innermost dominant thought becomes our outermost tangible reality. And whatever you think about most, you bring about most in life.
Are you ready for the next step to be revealed?
It's here, it's hot, and it's a must read. It's the science behind The Law of Attraction magazine. Every issue brings you great articles and in-depth how-tos from all your favorite Law of Attraction experts, authors, scientists, and medical professionals. Go to lawofattractionmagazine.net. That's lawofattractionmagazine.net.
Did you know that every human uses only a small portion of their powerful mind? Jules Johnson, international certified hypnotherapist, wants to introduce you to your powerful mind in order to create your dream life. In as little as one session, Jules guides you into releasing limiting beliefs that keep you from achieving wealth, health, better relationships, and even true love. Schedule a session in Palm Springs or set up a Skype video session for those nationally and internationally. Jules would love to serve as your guide into living your dreams. Go to creativeguidedimagery.com or call 951-201-2166. That's creativeguidedimagery.com.
You're listening to the Law of Attraction Radio Network, heard by millions worldwide through 38 internet radio stations and in over 135 countries. Be sure to sign up for your monthly updates and get all the latest information on LOA radio events such as cruises, workshops, and seminars, as well as information on the latest shows, topics, and guests. Go to LOARadionetwork.com and sign up today.
Well, welcome, Doug Vermeeren, to Law of Attraction Talk Radio again. And I'm so excited to have you on because we're talking about the new Law of Attraction movie. And it's your movie. You put it all together. You've got all the stars in it. And now we are anxious to hear about it.
Cool. I'm excited to tell you about it. So this will be great. We're having so much fun with it. It's just awesome. It's awesome.
Now, when did you start putting it together?
You know, what's interesting is I was just actually on an interview before this one, and they asked me the same question. That's really a difficult thing for me to pinpoint, because I have to kind of confess, the first time I started kind of thinking about it was when I saw The Secret. And you remember that Mike Dooley says, thoughts become things, right?
That's right.
And so I right away went, well, how? Right? And so that was kind of the genesis of it. And then I've been, you know, obviously working on other movies. This will be our 4th movie. But I really kind of put my, how should I say, my attention to this in 2010 and started developing a script behind it, some ideas behind it, started researching the neuroscience behind it, the quantum physics behind it.
Oh, good.
So this movie goes really in depth to a lot of, I think, things that we really haven't considered when it comes to thoughts. So it's not just kind of a motivational film. It's very, very deep in a lot of respects. And even the way that we've created it, I've developed it to be kind of different than most of the other movies. There's even sort of a way to deal with your subconscious and learning it. So even the way that it unfolds in the film and the tools that it gives you are designed to anchor you to be able to create better thoughts and ultimately create better things. So it's neat. You're gonna love it. It's really cool.
Well, look, it sounds so educational. And, you know, with my audience, we gravitate towards anything that's going to explain the law of attraction more to us and help us to really understand that what we're putting out there, we have to be responsible for it. Yeah. We are creating it. And so this is why I'm just so excited about this. Tell us who's in the movie.
Sure, absolutely.
This is what's really incredible.
Yeah, and this is neat. So we've got Bob Proctor, who you guys all know and love.
Yeah.
John DeMartini, who's actually one of my best friends. He's been in all my movies, so you guys love him.
Yes.
John Asroff, as you remember, from The Secret. Joe
Right.
Vitale from The Secret. Marie Diamond, who was in The Secret. Bob Doyle, who's also in The Secret. And I've also got some newcomers. Obviously, I'm in it. So if you don't know me yet, you'll get a chance to know me.
Yes.
But we've also got Travis Fox, who really talks about architecting, that's the word we want, architecting your future in your life. Karen Perkins, who's a doctor of hypnotherapy. She's got some really cool ideas. Marina Bruni, who's actually a lawyer by trade. So she's got a really interesting way of looking at things from a logical point of view. Megan Fettes, who is kind of known as the Joy Coach, but she also runs something called the Rise Spiritual Entrepreneur Center. And so we've got, you know, just a wide variety of people that I think have a unique perspective on how thoughts become things, right? And by the way, as you were talking there, you said something that really kind of sparked me for a minute here. You talked about this idea of what we put out also comes back. And I think that sometimes we often kind of think about this idea of, you know, what can I put out? And we try really hard to kind of feel a certain way or project a certain way. And as we looked at this film, How Thoughts Become Things, there's 2 important words even in the title that maybe speak to what you're talking about. One of them is the how, right? Which is the processes, the patterns, the, you know, the thinking and really how do I dial into this essence of, you know, attraction and manifestation. But I think the other word is maybe one that's also neglected, especially when we talk about this idea of what we put out, and that's the word become. And so it's thoughts become things, but the thing that really we forget when we're talking about becoming is the changes that need to occur within ourselves. And I love what Jim Rohn once said. He says, if you win the lottery, you've got to learn how to become a millionaire really quick, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know? And so I think this is something that we often kind of look at is, what do I put out? What do I put out? What do I put out? And our focus becomes on this thing of what we're broadcasting. But the truth of the matter is if we become the right thing, the broadcasts happen automatically. And we start broadcasting at a higher level because we're rising to a higher level. And so within the film, we're going to talk a lot about not the forced application of like, okay, you know, affirmations. What can I think? What can I do? What can I be?
Exactly.
Right?
That's
like the hard work.
That's what
right?
we have been doing. Yeah. Trying to figure it out. How am I supposed to be thinking?
That's right. So how can we just kind of become it so that it begins to flow naturally? And that's when the law of attraction really begins to take effect, because that's saying that, you know, we've heard it a lot in personal development. You've got to be it before you can do it, before you can have it. I love what my wife said, you know, the saying that says actions speak louder than words. She said, being speaks louder than actions. And most of us actually forget that. right?
Yeah.
Because we're trying so hard to do the right things and the right actions. And if you really look at that, there's kind of a very counterproductive foundation that's there. And that's why people struggle with self-worth or the feeling of investment bias. I haven't done enough and I haven't qualified enough and maybe I'm lying to myself. It's because they haven't put in the work to become before they are able to receive. And so we're going to address that in the film. But I think that that's a really important distinction. It's not doing the right things, it's being the right things, right?
You know, I think that makes it easier for us to comprehend and to put into action. After the last Secret movie, it's like there were still so many questions. So many that we just didn't get. And even after the 14 years that I've been doing it, I still got questions.
Well,
because I'm
cool
not
thing,
always doing it right.
Yeah, and I think the cool thing is that was really the beginning of a conversation, right? It allowed us to continue, even today, like what you and I are doing. And I think that, quite frankly, even with this film, it's going to be the beginning of a conversation. In fact, one of the things that we deliberately have done is with a lot of the screenings that we're doing at the beginning, we've incorporated a full day seminar with some of the experts being there in person, and we'll screen the movie so that people are not just seeing the movie and going, oh, wow, that was kind of inspirational. No, we want them to be able to walk away saying, here's step one. This is what I need to do to be able to bring this into my life and manifest it. And by the way, the other thing that's kind of neat with this movie is there's actually a workbook that goes with it. So you cannot effectively watch the movie without having the workbook in front of you to say, oh, this is how I'm going to apply this tomorrow or tonight, right? This is what I'm going to do. So it's actually a full kind of learning experience that's immersive. It's not just to sit back and, wow, you know, love the movie. No, we don't want that. We want you to actually make some life changes.
Oh, wow. I love that. I love that. So we're getting some real action steps here. What about, where do we get the book?
Okay, so here's the interesting thing is I'm actually right now just concluding the agreement with the same distributors and publishers as The Secret. So we are going through the same organization that did that. And as you remember, that they put out the book everywhere through Simon & Schuster and stuff. So the book will be available as well. Kind of like also with The Secret, you remember that the movie came out first and then the book followed behind it.
Right.
I assume that's probably what's going to happen in our circumstance as well. And believe it or not, I know this is going to sound a bit archaic. Some markets are also going to still get the DVD. So yeah, you can watch it online and things like that later on and this, but there will be DVDs available too for those that still have a DVD player. But yeah, exactly, right? But the thing that we do encourage, and we're not releasing the film online immediately, we are doing it through a series of screenings in a variety of communities. In fact, even some of your listeners may want to host a screening. We will support that, and we're looking for affiliates to help us to roll it out, and there's compensation programs there to help you guys. But we really want to have it where it's watched as a group and even with the speakers. And this is a movie that's designed to really be kind of a learning tool in a discussion, not to be watched privately in a closet somewhere. We want you guys to be in a group to be able to help each other implement the strategies and to really start creating things. Because here's something else that most people don't really realize. When thoughts become things, one of the major significant shifting points for a thought to become a thing is when it shifts into, let's call it the public domain, and you start getting support and help and everything else to make it happen. All great things. If you look at the climbing of Mount Everest, the winning of an Olympic gold medal, the creation of an Academy Award winning film, all these are done by groups. They're never done by a single individual. So if you want to create greater success in your life, you've got to learn how to really dial into the resources around you and accept help, and also be willing to, sort of be the director, if you will, of a symphony. It's like playing an orchestra, right? An orchestrated piece. You need the instruments. You need them all to make everything come together. So again, we encourage you to watch this film with a group that can start supporting you in your dreams.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. That actually makes so much sense. It really does. So terrific. But you're going to have screenings, like you have a screening in Los Angeles, don't you?
We do. Actually, the grand premiere is in Los Angeles, April the 8th. We are showing it before then in London, England on March the 27th, but we've got screenings all over the world. And as I mentioned, most of the speakers from the film will be attending a variety of screenings. So I know, for example, in Los Angeles, we've got some of the people that you saw in The Secret that are joining us. It's a full day event. The challenge, though, just to keep in mind, is the seating is somewhat limited just because of the sizing of the spaces that we have available. So generally, it's about 200 to 300 people max that can come in. So obviously, if you want to attend that, I'm going to encourage you to obviously get involved, get your tickets quick, because they are already going quick. I think LA is about 70 to 80% sold out already.
Wow.
But we are going to do them in a variety of different communities. And then, as I mentioned, we are going to allow the film to be shown by individuals. So if you are a law of attraction coach, or you're a goal setting coach, or you're someone who's involved in the personal development space and you'd like to, have your own screening, we will support that. We'll help you. We've got, marketing materials to give to you. We're happy to let you use the film. And there's also, obviously, you can make some money on that too. And we want you to be rewarded for your support on the film as well, right?
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Yeah. So how do they contact you, or how do we go about getting situated?
Yeah, gotcha.
Like,
so,
how do we watch it?
That's right.
I want to be a leader in this.
Well, we'd love to have you. So here's the deal. It's very easy. Just go to the website, howthoughtsbecomethings.com. And there's a variety of buttons up there that will allow you to either register yourself as an affiliate, and then we've got a private Facebook group that we're training people how to share the film, and in fact, giving them a sneak peek of some of the things that are in there and some of the tools, so you can see ahead of time what's in there. And then certainly there's a variety of other options that are in there. You can get involved in the different events and screenings. We'd love to have you come out. We've actually already got some different groups that are planning retreats and events with us. So we've got one in Bali coming up. Please join us. You can come spend a week with the speakers, not just an event, but a week, right? Like, let's go hang out on the beach, right?
Yeah.
And and we've got a cruise and things that we're doing too, and some things. And one of the things that I kind of really like about this that maybe most people don't really realize, I've been doing these movies for a while. In fact, I just got off a 26-city tour with speakers from The Secret. And as I mentioned, some of these guys have become close friends of mine. But it's not been necessarily at the events that we've become really good friends. Like, we've learned from each other there, but it's really kind of been in these private moments where we've really become connected. And sometimes in the private moments is where there's the greatest learning, right? And so I'm going to encourage you to come and spend some private moments with us. Come to the premieres, come to the events, get to know us, but continue the journey by becoming our friend. And together we want to learn with you. Like, this is my passion. If you haven't gotten it, I love to teach this stuff, right? Because it changes my life, right? And I'm a student before I'm a teacher. And so I also believe that those that come and learn from us, for me, that also becomes a learning on, for example, I had a gentleman, and maybe I'm going to get a bit somber on this, but a gentleman that came to me in Belgium when we put out our movie, The Opus, and he explained to me that he at one point was quite depressed, and he was even suicidal and had a lot of challenges come into his life. And when he watched the film, something clicked for him, something opened up inside, and he began to see that he had the power of choice and the ability to do things differently and could take control of his life. And it was a really neat learning experience for me when he pulled open his wallet, showed me a picture of his wife and a 2-year-old daughter, and said, this is really because of the principles that were shared there. And then he unfolded to me how they made a difference personally for him. And so, I mean, I love to learn about that too, because I think it makes, when I go now to another audience and share my seminar, the Personal Power Mastery Program, when I share that, I can kind of unfold what I've learned on how it's applied, and hopefully we can bless the lives of others based on what we've learned from those that attend, right?
Right. Oh boy, that sounds so exciting.
It's neat.
Well, so now, is in Los Angeles, is it at the Independent Theater, or
you know what? I have to apologize. I've got so many premieres that are coming. We've got about 40 that we've already added. I think, if I remember correct, it's at the Marriott near the LAX airport.
Oh, okay.
And the reason we've done that is because we'll do the seminar during the day and we'll do the screening at night. And so it's just a full jam-packed day of activities and connecting with the speakers and getting a chance to really delve into this content, right?
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And I know that we're going to have a chance to talk to some of the speakers. They're going to be on Law of Attraction Radio Network. A lot of hosts are very excited because they get to interview them. And so we're gearing up. Every time we have a Law of Attraction expert, such as you, Doug, and John DeMartini and all of the rest, oh my goodness, it like vibrates out.
It's cool.
Our host gets so excited. It's like, new information, yay. So
well, I can totally relate, because even as I'm constructing the film, like I said, this is my 4th one now, right? But can you imagine, like, what I get to do is I get to write this list of questions that I'd like to personally
Oh,
one-on-one
wow.
talk to these guys about. And the unfortunate thing is not all that content makes it to the film.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that I get a chance to learn and I'm privileged to be part of. Who knows, maybe even for this film, we'll release some of that as behind the scenes. But
Oh, wow.
can you imagine, you know, I mean, I get to spend, for example, a day with Bob Proctor, just one-on-one, chatting with him about this stuff. And we have some amazing conversations. In fact, there's one that was really kind of neat. I was talking to him and, you know, it's funny because I told Bob one time, I said, you remind me a lot of my own grandfather. And immediately he kind of lit up, you're right. And it's true, he does. He reminds me a lot of my grandpa. And so as I was talking to him, we kind of got in this conversation. We said, with the law of attraction, we know that everything vibrates at a frequency. And I said, well, what is it that's vibrating? You know, what is the actual material that's vibrating? And so we started talking about that. And very interesting, together we came to the conclusion that all matter, all things are various manifestations of love and gratitude. So in other words, everything is a different manifestation of love and gratitude. And when we're vibrating at low levels, we're obviously at a very low level of love and gratitude. We don't have that. And because of that, we're not attracting really wonderful things into our life. In fact, sometimes we're even counterproductive. We're attracting the negative and we're attracting things that we feel terrible about. And they don't really edify us or lift us higher. But as we begin to experience higher levels of love and gratitude, the things that are around us that are attracted to us are higher levels of love and gratitude. And now just keeping in mind that the one thing I think that most people kind of defeat on, remember we talked about this idea of being, right? Like this essence of being. I think sometimes we don't give ourselves time enough to become.
Oh, how true.
And so, right, we might be kind for 15 minutes. We might be nice to somebody for a minute. And we feel obviously the feelings that come with that, but we often don't sort of resonate with that long enough to start making that habitual so that we really start receiving a bounteous feeling of love and gratitude. So I think that's an important lesson for us to think about. But yeah, back to the, I guess, beginning of that, it's so fun to get these private conversations, right? There's so much we talk about that it's awesome.
Well, I think it's wonderful. You have manifested, you're a teacher, but you've also manifested the experts in which you can develop even more material. Yeah. So that's a blessing to us all.
Well, I've also been blessed that, you know, like, I don't know if you knew how I started out, but when I was 19, I went out and I started interviewing some of the world's top achievers. I got to more than 400 of the world's top achievers, which was amazing. People like Oprah, people like Donald Trump, people like Richard Branson, Mark Cuban. I mean, you name it, I've had a chance to visit with them. And it's been really interesting. And I've noticed that even, like, I didn't start as a speaker, by the way. I didn't have any intention to even host seminars. I just wanted to learn. In fact, I still consider myself first and foremost a student. But as you can imagine, as soon as you meet with people at that caliber, people want to know, what did they teach you? What did you learn? And so because of the experts that I've surrounded myself with, I've been very fortunate that now, you know, even my program, the Personal Power Mastery Program, has risen to be considered among the top 3 programs in the world.
Oh,
and
wonderful.
I don't credit that to me. I say it's because it's the caliber of people that I've been able to learn from. And then we pass on those seeds of greatness onto others. And, you know, I mean, after you interview 400 of the world's top achievers, there's some things you find that everyone has in common, right? Like there's some common attributes that are there, right?
But it still has to do with your vibration to match theirs in order to get the information out. Is that correct?
I think so. Yeah. But let's talk about that for a minute, because I want to maybe help those that, let me put it this way. I've had a chance, as I mentioned, to teach this for quite some time now. So I've been teaching since about, you know, maybe the early 2000s. But what I have found is that sometimes people are hard on themselves because they have a really good day where they're vibrationally high, everything's going well. And then something comes that they're either not expecting or something that they just aren't prepared for or that they've never experienced before. And the vibration then goes the other way, right?
Yeah, it does.
And I want to share that happens to me too, right? Like that happens to all of us. In fact, if you were to chat with any of these top thought leaders, every one of us have a challenging day. But I think the difference is in how quickly you can respond to that, recognize it for what it is, have the awareness on this is where my vibration is at in the moment, and then be able to swing yourself back the other way, right? So we shift from kind of a reactive to what we call a proactive response to it. In fact, in the film, I'm going to be talking about this. Oftentimes people sort of label thinking as either negative or positive, but there's actually 4 levels of thinking, and negative is obviously the lowest,
Right.
but positive is not the highest either. And so we're going to be talking about that in the film. How do you get back to that highest state of manifestation, of high vibration, high frequency? And maybe I'll even just spill a little on this. One of the things about positive thinking that maybe most people have misunderstood is that if you look at a positive thinker, they generally say, you know, darn, I missed the bus. Well, let's look on the bright side, right? Or
Yeah.
I just lost my job, but let's look on the bright side, right? So they always actually kind of need a negative circumstance to create a positive outcome. So in other words, in some degrees, they are manifesting a negative to be able to provide value.
Wow.
You know what I mean? They manifest the negative so that they can find that they are a hero or that they can rescue. So they're always on the hunt for negative or drama. Now, by the way, I'm not saying this to be mean, but just consider for a minute, is there anybody in your family or your circle of friends that are always manifesting drama so that they can appear to be the hero seem like they're positive, right? And so we're still in a very reactive state when we're a positive thinker in that description, like in that definition of it. And so we're going to be talking about a higher manifestation, which is not necessarily attached to anyone or any outcome or anything, so that you can always be manifesting positive regardless of what's going on around you. And it comes to that idea of, we speak about this in my other film, The Gratitude Experiment, but the difference between being grateful for, which is what most people are, I'm grateful for this, that, and the other, to a state of being grateful in, which is now we're not associated or tied to outside circumstances. Now, obviously, much easier to say than to do,
Yeah.
but we're going to show you some tricks on how to get there, some techniques that you can use to get to a higher level of manifestation and gratitude in your life so that your thoughts really do indeed start to become the things that you want rather than the things that you're just kind of responding to.
Wow. Wow. This is so fascinating. I am so excited to watch it. Now, again, let's go back because now I'm thinking, I got to watch this. I got to be there. I got to see what's going on. Okay. Now, it's not going to be a link like on April 8th.
No.
It's going to be further on down the road that we'll have places where people can go, because I want to have a great big link on Law of Attraction Radio Network.
Yeah. So let me kind of explain how the launch is going to work. In fact, we try to do this a little bit more, almost like a traditional Hollywood movie where we aren't going to put it immediately out on a link online or through iTunes or anything like that. We want people to get together at a real live event.
Yeah.
At the beginning. So again, they can share the experience. They can help each other manifest what they would like to create. They can help each other build the things in real life. So most likely for about the first 6 months, the only place you'll be able to see the film is at a live event. Now, having said that, we are happy to support viewers or your viewers or anyone tuning into Law of Attraction Radio. If you'd like to host an event, if you'd like to create an event, we'll give you the film to show it. Right? So it doesn't necessarily have to be one of our official events, although our official events, the benefit is that you'll have the speakers that will be there. In some cases, all of them. In other cases, the selected group, whatever schedules will allow. We're kind of finding now we've even got some people wanting to do a screening all on the same day in different markets. So we've got to, we can't have everybody there at all of them, but we're going to try our best. But if you would like to host it on your own, my feelings is that many of you watching this are qualified already to have these discussions. You don't need me to start talking about the law of attraction or a Bob Proctor or a Joe Vitale. I think many of you are well versed enough into these ideas and principles that you can watch the film and have a very effective and wonderful conversation with a group of people in a room that you can say, listen, as a law of attraction practitioner, I see what they've talked about there and I've experienced it in my own life, and you can coach the group that's there. Right? You can work with the people that are there. Now, having said that, we also do have a coaching program, and we are going to be certifying people in this ahead of time. And if you'd like to be part of that or learn that, we would love to train you and help you support your groups with this film. So so in essence, the long answer to a very simple question. We are going to be showing this wherever people want to see it. And if you want to show it to those that are in your tribe or in your community or those that you love and care about, reach out to us and we'll help you arrange that.
Okay.
Happy to do it. Happy to do it.
Great. Because boy, I want to do it for the network. I really want to. I mean, we've got so many listeners all over the world,
Nice.
and I just want to bring them in and let's just devour this information. I'm so excited. So yeah, but I'll be talking to you about that, about how we're going to do that. But so the one in Los Angeles, though, you are gearing up to have people. So I want to encourage people who are in the California area to go hit this in Los Angeles. And we can get the tickets and everything. And we've got to hurry up. We've got to do it right away. We go to How Things Become Thoughts.
How Thoughts Become Things.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. It's all good. It's all good. HowThoughtsBecomeThings.com. And you'll notice that up on the top of the website, there's a little link that says events. You'll just click that and then select the city that you want to attend. But one of the reasons I love Los Angeles, like the Los Angeles event, is that we're considering that to be the official premiere.
Okay.
So it's going to be a really cool experience because you'll have the majority, if not all of the speakers will be there. There's going to be some media that's attending. So it's really neat to kind of see what the red carpet gala will be like.
Yeah.
There's going to be the opportunity, of course, to have, some learning experiences with the speakers that are there. And you will be among the very first to see this. So one of the things that I kind of like about this too, is that if you remember back to films like The Secret or others, it's kind of neat to be in at the beginning of the wave, right? To understand before everyone does. So when people are like, have you heard about that film? You're like, oh yes, I have, right? And you're already part of the conversation. Maybe even by the time the rest of the world hears about it, you've seen it a few times. And so you can speak very intelligently on some of the concepts that we share within the film, right? So I think it's a cool opportunity. So please come join us. It's going to be fun.
So, but it's only going to be one day, April 8th in Los Angeles. Are you going to expand that? Do maybe a couple of days?
There will be a handful of days that will happen in Los Angeles. And as I mentioned, if people want to take the film to their own communities and things, I'm sure there'll be other screenings that are there. One of the other things that's kind of neat about the premiere is obviously we've got some exclusive goodies and things that we're going to be sharing, and some, gift bags and things that are going to be there. Like one of the things I'm really excited about that I just saw, we've got a quote book that has some of the neatest sayings from people within the film that are all in one specific book. That will not be available anywhere else or at any other time. So that's a specific tool. There's a few other things you'll have to wait and see, but I know some treats that we're preparing that are only going to be available for those that attend the premiere. So you'll get some really exclusive things that, quite frankly, you'll be a little bit special because no one else will ever see those again.
Wow. How exciting is that?
And then you can get them signed from the speakers too. So do that as well, right?
Yeah, that sounds like fun. I am planning on going. I'm going to be there. I would love to get a lot of the listeners to go and sign up and go to the LA, and we'll meet there. And let's just go, learn, have a good time. And especially we get to meet the other speakers. I mean,
well, let me tell you something I'm going to do for you too. Well, obviously, I'm sure you'd have a fun time interviewing some of these people. So let's get you some time with some of them when you're there. And I think that'd be really cool. I'm happy to do that.
Oh yeah, great. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. In the meantime, though, some of them are already coming in onto Law of Attraction Radio Network. We're going to be interviewing quite a few of them.
Wonderful.
So, and as a matter of fact, Marie Diamond used to be on Law of Attraction Radio Network.
Cool.
She used to be a radio show host for us.
Nice. Well, she's awesome.
Yeah.
And her interview for the film, you guys are going to love it. She said some really cool things that, man, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but something that I thought was kind of neat, and Joe Vitale also talked about this as well, is that our thoughts are kind of energetically connected, not only to things, but also people. And so sometimes when we have a positive or a negative thought about someone else, it's kind of like, you ever had that experience where you're thinking about someone and suddenly the phone rings and it's them?
Yeah.
Right? So what happens now, and I love Marie Diamond's thing. I want to be careful because I don't want to give away the punchline on this, but she talks a little bit about be careful who you invite, for example, to your wedding. Because if you've got half the audience is thinking, oh, they're never going to make it, or wow, this isn't right, they're energetically sending you outcomes.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And so we've got to be really careful about the influences that we bring in our life and the people that we sort of surround ourselves with. But on the same token, we've also got to be careful how we think about other people, especially those that we love and care about, you know, whether it's our kids or our parents or our siblings, or we've got to be really careful because those thoughts also have a form of manifesting themselves. And you wait till you hear in the film, it's kind of cool how that's brought up, but most of us never think about that.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Oh boy. Okay. So is there any other subject that we're going to gravitate towards in the movie?
Wow. My goodness. Yes.
Well,
how
I'm
much of it do we want to share, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to be talking about a few things that are really kind of cool. Something called the ripple effect. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Which many people kind of have maybe had as a glance before. But, you know, you'll see that it kind of talks a little bit about this idea of cognitive creation, how we really create the outcomes in our life and the steps that are involved. So you can kind of see where you might be missing things or where you might need to improve some things to manifest quicker and more effectively. We'll also be talking about something called the 5 ways your brain learns and how your brain actually processes information. Now, one of those ways is obviously intuition. Right? We all can process from a sense of intuition, but here's the deal is the other 4, if we don't have them correct, it often defeats our intuition and causes us to doubt ourselves and causes us to lose our authenticity and our connection to who we really are. So until we understand all 5, we're really only operating at partial cylinder, right? We're not really fully firing on all pistons or able to access our full divinity, if you will. And then one of the other things that we're going to be talking about, like I sort of alluded to, is the 4 levels of thinking. We talked a little bit about negative, we talked a little bit about positive, but we're going to be talking about the other 2. And we'll be talking a little bit about habits, how they're formed, and how, actually, I love what John Osroth said in the film. He said, thoughts do not become things. And we're going to talk about what that means, because that's really insightful and interesting. You see, most of us have kind of got a few skewed ideas on how the relationship is between thoughts and things.
That's so true.
Right? So we're going to talk about that as well.
We need the definitive answer on this. I mean, truly, for the last 10 years since the first Secret came out, we have not really progressed that much beyond. So what I'm hearing from you, we're going to step up the game here. We're finally going to understand how we are doing this thing and what we're doing wrong and what we're doing right. We're going to finally get the whole picture.
So if I can add one word there, I love what you said, that we're going to finally understand. But I think understanding is the beginning. What I want to see more than understand is we're finally going to apply. We're finally going to implement. And this is, again, like I said, at each of the screenings, there's workbooks available and there's things that are built into the film to help you learn how to implement. I do want you to understand, because understanding and awareness is the very first step to be able to create activity. Right?
Right.
The brain will only do what it can do, not what it could do. And the brain never ever gets started with something that it speculates. It gets started with things that it fully commits to. So this is the essence of the film. We don't want you just to come and learn and be a passive observer. We don't believe that spectators really influence the play of a game very much, right? Like, sure, they can cheer in the audience and they might be able to get people excited, but the real activity of the game always occurs either on the field or on the court or on the ice or whatever sport you're playing. So we want you to actually become a player, a real world, let's say, activist for your own destiny. We want you to really learn what to do. We want you to have the skills. We want you to be able to dribble down the court, to take the shot, to make it happen. And that's really what the essence of this film is. We don't want you to understand the game. That's the beginning. Understand the game, but we want you to play it and win it.
Yeah. So we are being educated now, not
I think so.
surprised or not. We're just finally getting educated on this very important subject of the law of attraction.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. And I'm excited how it will unfold for you. And by the way, the thing that I'm also quite passionate about in terms of understanding this is that I believe that part of it is understood in what we're told. But the other part, the most important part, what we learn as we implement, because that's really where we become, we can,
right.
It's kind of like learning how to play the piano. And we talk about this a bit in the film too, is that there's something called experiential learning. And there's certain things that we only learn through experience. For example, you'll never learn how to walk just by reading a book. You'll never learn how to play the guitar or the piano just by reading a book. It's something that you actually have to go and participate in. And sometimes through trial and error and small improvements that are sometimes very hard to measure, that skill level goes up and up and up and up. And so this is a book about really learning a film about how to really become, right? How to unlock who we are. So it's a next level of learning. And it's learning in such an extent that it's not just regurgitating information or saying, hey, that was wonderful. It's about really, again, changing the essence of who we are so that we begin to experience a manifestation in real life, right? Thoughts become things, not just thoughts develop because we learn things, right? We must be involved.
We must be involved.
We must be involved.
I love that. I love that. That was something that was missing before.
I think so. And to be quite fair, I mean, one of the things that I loved about The Secret, and I enjoyed this too, is that the movie was full of aha moments, right? Like, oh, wow, aha. But aha doesn't always create change. It stimulates awareness. But the real kind of from aha to I got it, meaning as in I've received, really comes through as now, not just what did I understand, but how am I using it?
Yeah.
Right?
Brilliant.
I think that's what was maybe missing for many people.
Oh, this is going to be so exciting. I know you just got everyone so excited to learn more, to actually put it into play. Oh, I can hardly wait. It's only a couple more months away.
Yeah, I mean, it's coming quicker. It's, for those of us on the creation end, it's actually coming too quick, but we'll get there. In fact, we've got a really great team, not just the speakers in the film, but I think we need to give some gratitude for those that are helping assemble the film, those that have the technical skills to be able to, use the technology to create a film that's going to be exciting and fun, people that are creating the music and the visuals and all that technical stuff that, quite frankly, I think no film like this could ever be created without those people. And I think that, to be fair, I don't think we often sing their praises enough, because these are some really neat people, and they've just got a great skill set that allows them to do their magic, right? So I'm grateful for that.
Oh, wow. How exciting.
And by the way, on that note, I'm also grateful for you, because without people like you talking about this film and telling people about it, I mean, we could have a great film, but no one would ever know, right?
No, well, we need to get word. So I'm going to ask all the listeners, go out there and tell your friends and take them with you. Just
here's something else with that too, is, by the way, we have a variety of contests that if you do tell your friends and we catch you doing it, well, there's a couple things. Not only have we got an affiliate program, so you get paid for doing it, but if we catch you telling your friends about it or posting about it on social media, or, sharing your experiences with learning or whatever it is. And in fact, even if we catch you with a picture of the poster or the DVD or wearing a t-shirt or holding the water bottle, or whatever we catch you doing, your name goes into win prizes. And we have a variety of contests where some of them even include come join us in Bali on one of the treats, and we'll pay for that. We'll cover your entire trip to Bali, or on one of the cruises, or tickets to the screening, or maybe what we'll even do is you'll get the seat sitting next to a guy like Bob Proctor through an event. So as he's sitting there as well at the event, you'll get a chance to sit next to him and be his buddy for the day. And we've got lots of cool stuff that we're sharing. So please share, and I'd love to see some of you win.
I know everybody's all excited now. They can hardly wait. So as I'm very excited about this. And, if your vibration is any indication, I'm so excited that I know everybody's thinking, I got to get this going. I got to be there. I've got to do these things. I've got to find out where the screenings. And to get more information, the website address again.
www.howthoughtsbecomethings.com.
Okay. And that's down below the video. And so everyone go to that, find out how you can get to one of the screenings, how you can purchase the books, how you can do all these things. And get a group together. Get a big group together. Everybody has a group in their community. So this is going to be very easy. And then to watch the change that occurs is even more exciting.
It will be exciting. Yeah.
Because this is going to go like the 100th monkey. Oh my goodness, it's going to be phenomenal. It's something actually that we need. And we've needed it actually like 5 years ago, but you got
Sorry,
it
we're
10
late.
years.
Sorry, we're late. Yeah. Well, but you know what? They always say good things come to those that wait. And to be quite fair, I think if we had released this film 5 years ago, I'm not sure, for two things. One, I don't know if the people would have been quite ready to implement because they weren't quite hungry enough yet. They were still finding their way, right? Still trying to find out how to implement what we've already learned and experiment with a bit. And then the second thing, you're going to find this funny. I was chatting with a neuroscientist, and she's a dear friend of mine. She even is involved in doing brain surgeries and stuff. And she said something remarkable to me. She said, do you realize that in the last 10 years, that 98% of what we thought we understood about the brain has changed? So in other words, the way that neuroscience has worked and the things that we've discovered, I'm not saying that what we learned was completely wrong, but we've built on that and we've gotten to such a higher level. So there's things that we understand now about the brain that we've never considered before, and some things that we know about how the brain thinks and how we can override habits and how we can form new neural pathways. And a lot of that has completely changed. And there were a lot of things that we used to believe that were valuable, but not quite complete. Right? Some things that we didn't yet have the full picture on. And even then, I'm sure that 10 years from now, we might say the same thing again. We're always learning, but I think we've learned enough that we can really make some incredible strides forward in creating things differently in our life.
You know, it's because of people like you, Doug, that are helping us to evolve to a new level of understanding and the education we get. There has been missing links since The Secret came out, and now you're filling those gaps up. And then we're going to expand beyond that.
Yeah,
even more.
You know, I wish I could take the total credit for that. That's kind of you saying that. But the truth is again, I'm just a student like you guys. I'm seeking this information out. I'm seeking the best experts. I'm learning myself. I'm out there teaching this in seminars, and I'm sharing it with people in real life circumstances so I can see how they apply it. And I'm just sharing with the world, if you will, what I've been able to discover. And I guess I should say firsthand in my own life. Like, here's the thing is I'm a father. I'm also a grandfather, and I see how things work in my family and in my business and in my life. And you know, as I've been out there in the world, obviously I'm looking for the best that has allowed me to become my best. And as I find that, I try to share it with others. And so really, I think that the film is a combination of, you know, what I've learned from others, not only the experts, but even those within our seminar. And then also what we have found has really worked well and given people more effective change is maybe the word to say it.
I like that.
And by the way, here's something interesting I'll just share. And I do talk about this in the film. One of the most powerful things that we learned that I think most people take for granted. Now, when I went out and I interviewed the 400 of the world's top achievers, I asked them about success principles, things that they did that would help them get to higher levels of success. And I wanted to study people that I felt maybe also made the quickest kinds of changes and the best kinds of changes. And strangely enough, it didn't lead me to personal development people. In fact, one of the most exciting interviews that I had was with a lady that trained all the people for the suicide hotlines, right? Wow. So as you can imagine, that's a circumstance where you need to effect a change very quickly and immediately. The people that are calling in on that are in despair, they're anxious, they're troubled, they're at the lowest point in their life. They don't see that they have any choice or opportunity. Like, they're definitely at a closing point. They're ready to call it quits, right? And so when I chatted with this lady, I said to her, so what's some of the biggest principles that you would teach or share for someone to make a change? And she said, and this was surprising, she said, out of all the things that we can say to someone, or that we would say to someone on the phone, the one thing that we will not say is, don't kill yourself. And I was like, what? This is the suicide hotline. Like, for me, that's the first thing I say. Don't kill yourself. Don't do it. And I said to her, well, why wouldn't you say that? Like, that's like strange to me. And she said, well, because when we say that, we're taking away the one power that they have to change everything, and that's the power of choice.
Oh my God.
So when we tell someone don't do this, we're taking away their choice. So she said, what we will do instead is we will say, you could do that, but here's what it looks like. So we help them see the consequence of choices. And so then we say to them, here's another choice. You could call for help, and you're doing that. And that's what this looks like. Or you could do this, and that's what this looks like. And we help them start to see alternatives. And then she said something really interesting to me. And this has become, in my opinion, the foundational principle of all transformation and success. And in my seminars, Personal Power Mastery, this is the first power, okay? And that's the power of choice, that the more choices we see and become aware of and recognize, the more power we have.
Oh, yes. Oh, I
Isn't
love
that interesting, right?
I love that.
Yeah.
That is so true.
And I think this is an important thing for your listeners who embrace the law of attraction. I think sometimes one of the things that we neglect when looking at how do I attract things into my life is we don't start by saying, what are the choices that are available to me? And I do have the choice to change. I do have the choice to recognize things differently, to see myself differently, to see others differently, and even the choice to choose different things. Now, you've also heard it said that happiness is a choice, right?
Right.
Okay. I'm going to say that that's incorrect. And what I mean by that is that's only part of the answer. Happiness is not only a choice, but it's also being content and at peace with the consequences that follow that choice. So we need to look beyond sometimes the immediate decision, and we need to see where that's leading us. I love what Stephen Covey said in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He said that some people climb the ladder of success only to find that it's leaning against the wrong wall, right? Isn't that true?
Yeah.
Right? So we work ourselves into this frenzy to accomplish all these things, but in the end, all of the activity that we've done isn't creating the consequences that we'll be at peace with or that we'll be happy with. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that in the film too. How do you know if you're creating the right consequences after all, right?
Very important.
I think it's important. Yeah.
Very important. Oh my goodness, this is wonderful. I am so excited. So we're almost out of time. Doug, oh my gosh, thank you for coming on. Thank you for creating this movie. And thank you for allowing us to really expand more. It's so needed right now, and I can't thank you enough. You are just a blessing to this world.
Well, you used a really interesting phrase there. Maybe this is a good way to even kind of end it. You use the word expansion or expand. And the truth is you can't expand what you have until you expand who you are.
Oh.
It's definitely a true principle. And so that's the one thing, I guess, to sum it up, whether it's this movie that you're about to see or any other movie that I'm going to create in the future, or even the ones that I've already created, the mission is to expand you. That's it. That's the mission. And so here's the truth is the more that I can help expand you, the more even me personally, I expand, right? Wow. Because all growth in the universe, we're all connected to each other. And if you look at the universe ever since the Big Bang, right? Everything's been in expansion mode. And so you can see, are you in harmony with the universe or are you fighting against it? Are you contracting and thinking small and scarce with jealousy or criticism or competition or complaining? Or are you expanding and looking for the goodness wherever you can find it and adopting it and still moving forward? Are you coming from a place of fear and doubt saying, I don't know if I can do this or I'm not enough? Or are you saying, I can and there will be a way, right? We need to really carefully look at how we're looking at things.
That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Well, thank you, Doug Vermeeren. Thank you so much. And we are going to really look forward to April 8th and beyond, because we're going to be expanding like you wouldn't believe. Thanks,
awesome.
Doug.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next week with another great show from Law of Attraction Talk Radio. If you'd like to comment on tonight's show, send an email to jules@loaradionetwork.com and have a great week.